Presentation on transaction risk. I am Kavishri, MCOM final from MPM Government First Grade College, Karkala. Transaction risk is the exchange rate risk resulting from the time lag between entering into a contract and settling it. Exchange rates are subject to continuous changes, and an increased time lag between entering into a transaction and settlement leaves both parties unaware what the exchange rates would be at the time of settlement. Transaction risk is the risk faced by a company when making financial transaction between jurisdictions. The risk is the change in the exchange rate before transaction settlement. Essentially, the time delay between transaction and settlement is the sources of transaction risk. Transaction risk can be mitigated using forward contracts and options. For instance, if a US company is repatriating profits from a sale in Germany, it will need to exchange euros that it would have received for US dollars. The company agrees to complete the transaction at a certain euros or US dollars exchange rate. However, there is usually a time lag between when the transaction was contracted to when the execution or settlement happens. If in that time period the euro were to depreciate versus the US dollar, then the company would receive fewer US dollars when this transaction is settled. For example, ABV Company in the UK is a commercial organization and intend to purchase 600 barrels oil from Company in the USA, who is an oil exporter, in another 4 months. Since the oil prices are continuously fluctuating, ABV decided to enter into a contract to eliminate the uncertainty. As a result, the two parties enter into an agreement where X&T will sell the 600 oil barrels for a price of about 170 per barrel. Spot rate of an oil barrel is pound 127. In another 4 time, the price of an oil barrel may be more or less than the month's contract oil of pound 170 per barrel, irrespective of the prevailing price as at the contract execution date. Exante has to sell a barrel of oil for pound 172 ABV as per the contract. After 4 months, assume that the spot rate is pound 176 per barrel. The difference between the prices ABV has to pay for the 600 barrels due to the contract can be compared with the scenario if the contract did not exist. If the contract did not exist, that is pound 176 into 600 is equal to pound 1,05,600. Due to the contract, that is pound 170 into 600 is equal to pound 1,02,000. So therefore the difference between the prices is pound 3,600,000. So it is a difference between 1,05,600 minus pound 1,02,000 is equal to 3,600. Due to the contract, ABV managed to gain a profit of pound 3,600. Above type of contract aimed to mitigate exchange rate risk is called forward contract. This is an agreement between two parties to buy or sell an asset at a specified price on a future date. Instrument used to mitigate transaction risk. In addition to forward contracts, below instrument can also be considered in mitigating transaction risk. First, options. An option is a right but not an obligation to buy or sell a financial asset on a specific date at a pre agreed price. There are two types. First, call option. A call option gives its owner the right to buy stock at a specified exercised or striking price. In some cases, the option can be exercised only on one particular day and it is then conventionally known as European call. In other cases, it can exercised on or before the day and it is known as American call. So, a call option gives you the right but not the requirement to purchase a stock at a specific price by a specific date at the option's expiration. For the right, the call buyer will pay an amount of money called a premium which the call seller will receive. Unlike stocks, which can live in perpetuity, an option will cease to exist after expiration, ending up either worthless or with some value. For example, a call option is ideal for you depending on the availability in the options market. You may be able to buy 100 land shares at a price of rupees 300 per share after 3 months. So in the call option example, rupees 300 is the strike price and after 3 months is expired date, and premium is rupees 25 per share and current price is rupees 250. So here strike price is the price at which you can buy the underlying stock and premium is the price of the option for either buyer or seller, and expiration is when the option expires and is settled. So you end up paying premium of rupees 25 per share or 2500 means 25 into 100. You start making profits once the price of Reliance in the cash market crosses rupees 325. That is your strike price of rupees 300 plus premium paid of rupees 25. So it is 325. Suppose after a month market price is rupees 400, then the option is exercised, that is the shares are bought. So means the shares price may move to rupees 400, then the option is exercised, that is the shares are bought. So you would stand to gain rupees 7500, that is rupees 40,000, it is market price, minus 30,000, that is strike price, and minus 2500, that is premium, which was your cost per share including the premium of rupees 2500. So you get rupees 7500 net gain. Suppose after a month market price is rupees 200, then the option is not exercised. So for every price below the strike price of rupees 30,000, the option expires completely worthless and the call seller gets to keep the cash premium of rupees 2500. So it is net loss. Second, put option. Put gives the buyer the right but not obligation to sell a given quantity of the underlying assets at a given price on or before a particular date by paying a premium. So when you buy a put option, you are buying the right to force the person who sells you the put to purchase 100 shares of a particular stock from you at the strike price. When you hold put options, you want the stock price to drop below the strike price. If it does, the seller of the put will have to buy shares from you at the strike price, which will be higher than the market price. But you can force the seller of the options to buy your shares at a price above market value. The put option is like an insurance policy against your shares losing too much value. If the market price instead goes up rather than down, your shares will have increased in value and you can simply let the options expire because all you will lose in the cost of the premium you paid for the put. For example, right to sell 100 Reliance shares at price of rupees 300 per share after 3 months. Here expiring in 3 months with a premium of rupees 225 per share. In simpler terms, you are expecting a buyer to pay your 2500 as premium now for the 100 stocks that you are looking to sell. If you buy a put option, your loss will depend on the stock price movement. Suppose after a month market price is rupees 200, then the option is exercised, that is the shares are sold. If the market price is rupees 200 after a month, you would stand to gain rupees 7500. So that is 30,000 is strike price and minus 20,000, that is market price, and 2500 premium. So you will get net gain, that is 7500. Suppose after a month market price is rupees 300, then the option is not exercised. So at the same time, if the market price does not fall to 300, the option expires worthlessly and you get to keep the premium of rupees 2500. Futures of options. First, a fixed maturity date on which they expire, means expiry date. Second, the price at which the option is exercised is called the exercise price or strike price. And next, the person who writes the option and is the seller is referred as the option writer, and who holds the option and is the buyer is called option holder. Next, the premium is the price paid for the option by the buyer to the seller, and a clearing house is interposed between the writer and the buyer, which guarantees performance of the contract. Second, swaps. A swap is a derivative through which two parties arrive at an agreement to exchange financial instruments. So it is used to hedge interest rate risk on an over the counter basis. The owner of the rate protection must pay an ongoing premium to the seller. An interest rate swap is a type of derivative whereby two parties agree to exchange interest payment streams or obligations. Currency swap. It is a swap that includes exchange of principal and interest rates in one currency for the same in another currency. It is considered to be a foreign exchange transaction. It is not required by law to be shown in the balance sheets, and the principal may be exchanged either at the beginning or at the end of the tenure. So, currency swaps are originally done to get around exchange controls, governmental limitations on the purchase and or sale of currencies. Although nations with weak or developing economics generally use foreign exchange contracts to limit speculation against their currencies, most developed economies have eliminated controls nowadays. Third, futures. A future is an agreement to buy or sell a particular commodity or financial instrument at a predetermined price at a specific date in the future between parties not known to each other. Here, the predetermined price the parties agree to buy and sell the asset for is known as the forward price. The specified time in the future, which is when delivery and payment occur, is known as the delivery date. So, types of future. First, agriculture futures contract. These contracts are traded in grains, oil and mill livestock, forest products, textiles and foodstuffs. Several different contracts and months for delivery are available for different grades or types of commodities in question. Next, metallurgical future contract. This category includes genuine metal and petroleum contracts. Among the metals, contracts are traded on gold, silver, platinum, and copper. Of the petroleum products, only heating oil, crude oil, and gasoline are traded. Next, interest rate futures contract. A interest rate future is a financial derivative with an interest bearing instrument as the underlying asset. It is a particular type of interest rate derivative. For example, treasury bills, notes, bonds, bank certificates of deposit, Eurodollar deposits, and single family mortgage. Next, foreign exchange futures contract. These contracts are traded in the British pound, the Canadian dollar, the Japanese yen, the Swiss franc, and Dutch mark. Contracts are also listed on French francs, Dutch guilders, and Mexican peso, but these have met with only limited success. Next, stock index futures contract. These futures contracts without actual delivery were introduced only in 1982 and are the most recent major futures contract to emerge. In the United States, these contracts trade on several market indices like Standard and Poor's 500 and major market index, the NYSE index and the Value Line index. A stock index futures contract is a contract to buy or sell the face value of the underlying stock index where the face value is defined the value of index multiplied by the specific monetary amount. Thank you.